How are we this evening, Baltimore Raven fans, Baltimore Oriole fans? Thank you very much for joining us here for the get in the screen there. Raven Sports Podcast for fans like me. Like and subscribe to everything that we're doing, all of our social media content, which is increasing. So I want to thank you for that. Thank all of you that have watched, participated, watched our stream, shared our stuff. Thank you. Our numbers have been going up and up and up and up, but especially lately, subscriber counts have went up higher. Thank you. Thank you, whatever it is you're doing right now. Rough times right now for a lot of people. So I understand that. So I understand any of you taking part of your day to go ahead and spend talking a little Ravens, talking a little Orioles, talking a little Maryland Terps with us. I appreciate it. We all appreciate it here. Thank you very much. So let's take a look at here. Couple of things, got a little bit of housekeeping. Let's get out the way. Genesis Notary Services at facebook.com. So that is my notary business in the Shenandoah Valley. Definitely, you could go on the Facebook page and check out our live stream we just had. We talked about some things in the notary business. Definitely, if you are in the Shenandoah Valley area, Winchester City, Clark County, Warren County, any of you there, you know where it is. If you know, you know. You can go out there and you could call us. Put some promotions out there for us. Lately, I've been really spending some time on that, so definitely give us a call. Mobile notary business. If you do need field inspection, home inspection, anything like that, real estate, you real estate people, definitely give me a call. Absolutely, you can get that squared away with Genesis Notary Services. See Charles Harris at LegalShield.com. So that's the Legal Shield business. If you need any legal representation at cost, it is really going to help you. I called a lawyer recently, and before they would even talk to me, right, this is not the Legal Shield, $300. Before you start talking, we need $300. Before we do the Zoom meeting, $300. Legal Shield will give you a fraction of that every month. So definitely check that out. Great legal representation that you can have. See Charles Harris. We are LegalShield.com. RavenrySports.company.site is the website for Ravens, jerseys, hats, anything like that. We got a great program now where you could go ahead. They'll send it straight to you. Valentine's Day maybe is coming up here. If you want to go ahead and surprise that person in your life with a Ravens jersey or Orioles jersey or Orioles hats or anything like that, they're on the website. You could go ahead and buy. App is, I'm not going to announce the date for the app yet, but it's coming here real shortly. So we're still working on it and getting that squared away for you. All right, a lot to get to this week here. Still in the offseason, you nerds out here. If you're watching this here, there's no Ravens going on. There's no Orioles going on. So you are into the offseason stuff, which is what we're going to do today. Of course, we're going to talk about Justin Tucker. I thought I'd start with Tucker, but I'm not going to start with Tucker. We're going to do what we were going to do. We're going to talk about the Ravens team needs. So last week we talked about the Baltimore Ravens in terms of who's a free agent coming up on the team. So we're going to get to the draft and all that other stuff, mock draft. But what do we need on the Baltimore Ravens in 2025? So what are the things that the team needs to do going forward after the loss in the playoffs? Now, I will say this is our next season is going to be our fourth season covering the Ravens. I would say not as much as it's been in recent years. because I think they've addressed some things. They did not obviously win the Super Bowl. They've addressed some things, but you don't have to have now this great receiver. You got Zay Flowers establishing himself. You don't have to have this great running back because you got Derrick Henry establishing himself. So there are some things they have shored up, and they have guys under contract. Next year, 2026, going to be a much, much different in terms of free agency, but there still are needs to win because you didn't win the whole thing. You're still trying to win it. So what do you actually need on the team actually going forward in 2025? So this is the things I'm sorry. Firstly, we're going to talk about what we need. Let's talk about what you don't need, right? So in what's already in the refrigerator, can't imagine that they're signing a running back in the drafts or in free agency. They maybe have, if it's not the best running back room in the NFL, it's one of them. Same at tight end, unless there's a move made. And I don't think there's going to be a move made at tight end. I think they're going to keep all three of their tight ends. They may ask for some help on the cap with Andrews, but I think they're going to be good there at tight end. Center, I think is going to be a position of need. Not a position in need. I think Linderbaum is only a matter of time before they give him the extension. He's going to be their center. I think he's going to be their centerpiece offensive lineman. And nose tackle, you got several guys. Pierce, I think, really, really established himself. Travis Jones, Matt Abuke's decided you can move him to nose tackle. So I don't think those are the positions they're going to be looking at. These positions are needs, but maybe not needs. Maybe there's things that they're looking at here going forward. I think the number one thing that possibly could happen is a backup quarterback. I don't think you can go another season with Josh Jones as the quarterback. Inside linebacker, Trent Simpson didn't play as well as they had hoped, was kind of benched, relegated to special teams role. So I don't know what's going to happen there with Trent Simpson. Kicker. Yeah. I think a kicker gets drafted regardless with all the issues with Justin Tucker. It's possible with the season he had, they may draft the kicker. We don't know. They may bring Tucker back for another season. We just don't know yet. So that's why it's in the possible. Safety, I think I have that on the other list there as well, but I had it for there before. Fullback, I think it really depends on what happens with Ricard. I think Ricard is a free agent. I do think he'll be back, but it's possible that they could have him. And defensive end, I think more of a depth piece. I don't think they need any starters or they're looking at anybody starting. I don't think. But Brent Urban isn't getting any younger as far as the backups. They may be looking for some depth there. Wouldn't shock me if they were signing, but not big me. Safety, I got on the wrong list there, so bear with me. These are the needs in 5 as far as the order of what you need. Outside linebacker. So what's already here? Daffy Owe, Kyle Van Noy, David Ajabo, Adisa Isaac, Tavius Robinson. Not as big as need as we thought. Edge rush. Daffy Owe and Kyle Van Noy had 10-plus sacks, both of them. So they're going to start in 2025. I'd be shocked. Daffy Owe, question is, are you going to extend him? He did get they did pick up the 5th-year option at a very good price. So it's like $15 million. Is he going to be worth $20 million going forward? That's going to be the thing. This is why they may look at it now and see. The younger guys have not done anything as they had hoped. Tavius Robinson played a little bit towards the end of the year, played in the playoffs, got some snaps, but we're still not really sure. You didn't get hardly anything because of injuries. Again, David Ajabo, Adisa Isaac really didn't play at all last year. So we still don't know what that is. Definitely depth is needed here. And Van Noy, as good as he was last year, I think he's going to be 34, 35. So definitely you're looking at that. So Van Noy, free agent. I think he's a free agent too after next year, so as well, in addition to be 35. So it'll be interesting to see after next year. So this is not maybe as an immediate need right now, but this is definitely something, a depth piece, injuries. A little worried about the depth though, because Isaac, again, Ajabo, Robinson, not much there at all. And the rest of those guys there are Other guys maybe in the mix, but didn't get a lot there. So interesting to see there. Safety as well. Again, maybe the best safety in the entire NFL. Kyle Hamilton is on this, so you're not obviously that's not it. They want him to retire a Raven. They want Kyle Hamilton to go ahead and retire as a Baltimore Raven. Most likely, Darius Washington stepped up and got the starting job next year. Last year. Sorry. Darius Washington went ahead and wins the starting job in 2025. Last season, 2024 rather. So he wins the starting job, got it from Marcus Williams. I think there wasn't a bigger move on the roster. Actually getting a Darius in the starting lineup. You can go ahead. In the starting lineup, Marcus Williams, I think you might as well call him an ex-Raven. No way, no chance, no way in the world he comes back. Already he's restructured his contract to release him, so he's definitely all but gone. Two guys I think with potential. I think it's going to tell something how much they do here. How do they feel about Sesame Kane and Bo Braid? Didn't play a lot, played on special teams. Both were low draft picks, made the team. I like what I saw from those guys, even though they're not ready to start. But are they ready to be backups? How do the Ravens feel, EDC, John Harbaugh, and those guys feel about having these guys with a bigger role in 2025? It is possible. We're going to find out, though, in the draft if they go ahead and draft a player or if they draft a free agent. Interesting, I think, to see. That's why I don't have that higher. I don't know how they feel about those guys. He did, at the end of the year presser, say he was excited to possibly get a safety if he can get one. I think it's possible if they get a safety in the draft early, it's very possible. A couple safeties in the first round. So I don't think that's completely out of the pale there as well. Cornerback. So this is definitely one. Number 3. Let's see who's here. Nate Wiggins, Brandon Stevens, free agent. Marlon Humphrey, rather. Brandon Stevens, free agent. Nate Wiggins, rookie last year, going into a second year. Arthur Millette, I think he's under contract. I have him on the graphic. There's free agent. I think he is one more year on his deal. Travion Mullen, TJ Tampion, Justin Armour Davis. We know for a fact Marlon Humphrey and Wiggins are going to be your starters next year, no question about it. I think there's no question about that. I do think they're going to have to bring in some depth pieces. I didn't have enough room on the graphic to have Tre'Davious White. He's a free agent as well, so keep that in mind in the mix. I had to leave him. I didn't want to get it. Small enough, in my opinion, because there's so many people. But that's definitely something that they're going to have to look at as well. There's help needed outside of Wiggins and Marlon Humphrey here. So definitely I think this is going to be something they're going to look at very high in the draft. It is possible they could take a guy number 1 again. That wouldn't shock me. I don't know if they're going to do that. They tend to want to stay away from signing big dollars at this position in free agency, historically. Marlon Humphrey, homegrown. A lot of these guys homegrown. Possibly they can get a trade or they'll look at a veteran, but I think they're going to go in the draft. Justin Armour Davis, okay-ish. I mean, he's had some good camps, but we just got to keep him healthy on the field. TJ Tampa, you could kind of put him in the same category with Desus Isaac. We really didn't know. He was battling injury all year long, didn't get a chance to be on the field. So we don't know how much we're getting with TJ Tampa in 2025. So I think they're absolutely going to look at that. Millette, obviously, again, good 2023. Last year, you didn't get much from him at all. Again, battling injuries, got hurt in camp, came back from mid-season, didn't really play. Not a big contributor last year. So a lot of ifs here in the cornerback spot. Definitely a spot the Ravens are looking at in terms of need. Number 2, some would say this number 1, but I think this is number 2. Ronnie Stanley is here as well. Left tackle, Roger Rosengarten at right tackle, Josh Jones at left tackle. They did play Patrick McCarry, who's also a free agent. I didn't have him on this particular graphic here at right tackle, so as well. So huge need here. Ronnie Stanley, I think for free agency, is likely to sign with another team. He's look, he's the top free agent in all of football at the tackle spot, and it's a lot of money that tackles get. Certainly, there's a team. Look, Juan Taylor, who is not nearly the player Ronnie Stanley is getting $20 million for Kansas City. So surely Ronnie Stanley is going to look elsewhere, I think. So this is going to be a huge need. Roger Rosengarten, I think, had a very good rookie season. I think he was the only one, I think, that lived up to his full potential as a rookie. He can play the left side. That's very important. He's played the left side most of his college career. He's starting out in the NFL at right tackle, but I think they have a lot of confidence that he can play left tackle. Interesting to see, though. I think it's going to depend on what happens in the draft and free agency. I think if they can get a left tackle or somebody to play right tackle, I think they have no problem moving him. But I don't think they have no problem leaving him either. I think Rosengarten, I think, was the bright spot. Josh Jones is their death piece. I think it's possible that Josh Jones comes back on some kind of easy deal there, something where right before camp or a while. I don't think it's a big priority. You'll see depth pieces there, like late in the, right around April, they'll start signing tackles, right before, right after the draft or something like that. You'll see some tackles here. So that'll be interesting as well. The number one need is the guard spot. I think it's definitely more than tackle. I think the offensive line definitely has a lot of issues as well. Certainly free agency production as well. Makari, I think, is free agent at left guard last season. Daniel Falele, Ben Cleveland, and Andrew Voorhees. So a major overhaul, I think, at these two spots. McCary, I'm not sure if he's coming back or not. I don't know. I haven't heard a lot about teams being interested in McCary. I don't know if the market for him is great as well. I'm not sure. I'm thinking that he's going to not be here. My thought process is that somebody else out there is looking at a guy. There's a lot of teams that really need offensive line. It's such premium right now with all the money teams are spending on quarterbacks. So it'll be interesting to see that premium position there, that teams on quarterbacks. Andrew Voorhees is one there as well. Is interesting. Andrew Voorhees is interesting as well. Started out the year as a starter. Then he got moved to the bench last season. I still think they pretty got high hopes for him. I think they are going to – I absolutely can see a scenario where he moves into the left guard, but I do think they're going to put heavy draft emphasis on these spots here. For Lele, I don't know why y'all – I don't know why he started. I just don't know. I watched him for the whole season. He was horrible at the start. He got incrementally better, but definitely got to upgrade this year. Ben Cleveland, 0% chance you're going to have him. You're going to need at least, in my opinion, at least two here at this position. I think this is the number one need, protecting Lamar Jackson as well. So those, I think, are the biggest needs going forward. I don't think there's anything else you need in particular. I don't think there is a huge need otherwise there. There we go. I don't think there's another huge need on the team as far as that goes. But definitely the offensive line is something that has to be addressed, in my opinion, in the offseason. I think they kind of got lucky, I think, with two spots. The offensive line and the backup quarterback were two things where they absolutely got lucky. Absolutely did. They're lucky Lamar didn't get hurt and didn't need out. They had really nothing there in the offensive line, especially on the right side. Rosengarten played well, good draft pick. They schemed it up well, but they definitely had some issues there. So there are the needs for the team. Next week, we're going to go over the team, what they do as far as free agents. So we're going to do free agents, and then we're going to do draft targets. We're going to take you down the path here with the offseason, talk about free agency, all that stuff, the mock draft, the draft, Ravens draft. We're going to do Ravens mock draft. We're going to do all that stuff for you during the Raver Eat Sports podcast. let's get this out the way with the GOAT, Justin Tucker. This happened. This may seem like old news to a lot of you Raven fans, but this actually happened Thursday, right after we recorded on Wednesday. So we recorded on Wednesday, and this happened on Thursday with Justin Tucker. So if you read the Baltimore Banner, a lot of you know it, but I'll recap it anyway. There was allegations as far as it goes, the Baltimore Banner with the GOAT, Justin Tucker. As far as things that he had done in terms of sexual allegations about a massage parlor he was at. It wasn't named, I don't think, in the article. Definitely, I would challenge you to read the article, and the Baltimore Banner is behind the paywall, unfortunately. So definitely check that out. Also, too, he reprinted a statement. I put it on the River Sports Twitter page and Facebook page as well. He has vehemently denied these allegations that happened. He did that the same day it came out last Thursday, where he vehemently denied these allegations. Since then, there has been more accusers. So I think the number was at 9 originally. There's been 3 more. I heard there was more than that. There's been a couple more of these. These apparently happened several years ago. I think the timeline is 2015, where Justin Tucker was accused of sexual assault. This is alleged. I think I'm not. I don't want to use the wrong term because I don't. But I think it was sexual misconduct at a massage parlor with women, where apparently he was thrown out, and he was asked in the letter not to return to these massage parlors with these women where he was frequenting. So, not good, obviously. This is not a good thing at all. I'm really sad about this because I think all of us like Justin Tucker, right? I mean, even though our struggles, I think he's kind of one of our guys. I think he's one of the longest running Ravens on the team. He's a likable guy. I think fans really like him. A lot of us have a Tucker jersey. I think he might be the greatest kicker in the NFL history before this season. And I think it might be over. I don't know that, but if these allegations are true, I don't think he stays around as a Raven. Obviously, there's no place for this. There's no place for anyone doing anything to women. There's no place for touching women or making them feel inappropriate or anything at all like that. And it's unfortunate that he's out here doing these things, if that is true, which we don't know for sure. But it's unfortunate the Ravens have to deal with this. It's unfortunate that the fans, all the young people, especially that like Justin Tucker, have to deal with that. It's unfortunate for everyone involved that they have to go ahead and deal with this type of stuff here. So it's uncalled for. Obviously, when you have these type of issues, and so it's unfortunate that we have that here. I don't have a lot more than that, except we're just hoping that this isn't true, that this isn't founded, that there was a mistake, and we can move on with the GOAT. If this is true, and we don't know that it is, I don't think he's going to be around as a Baltimore Raven. Let's hope he can get out. I'm sure there will be legal issues and lawsuits and all this stuff as well, and they'll be drafting the kicker. So best to everyone involved here with that. Hopefully this isn't true. Let's hope for that. I'm going to hope for the best with that, with Tucker going forward. Doesn't look good though. I don't think that's correct. I don't know, but there's a lot of detail in that Baltimore Banner. There's a lot of detail coming out. I'm not going to go into what I heard behind the scenes either, so I don't know that to be true either. So again, we will see what happens with the GOAT Justin Tucker there as well. Okay, I want to do a segment here that I haven't done before on the channel. I definitely want to do something here that I haven't done before and talk about the channel. which is not something I often do. But there have been some changes, and I do want to go ahead and go into it a little bit about the changes that I've looked that are going on. So, Raven Sports Podcast, I want to say, is an endeavor that I started a couple years ago. A couple years ago, I was the job I was in for so many years. Things that weren't going as well as I had hoped. Things weren't going as well as I had hoped at the time. And I really started to think about what I wanted to do, what I wanted my life to look like without that. I've been at the grind for so many years. And I thought about okay, so what am I going to do? I'm getting older. I'm not 21. And so what I wanted my life to look like. So I said, I'm going to start some businesses, right? And you hear me talk at the beginning of the show, like Genesis Notary Services, Harris Legal Shield, Raven Sports. That's just what I want to be doing as I get older. I want to be doing things that mean something to me, helping the community I care about, doing things that I want to do, and I can serve people and help and be part of the community as well. So what does that have to do with the channel now? So the channel is growing now exponentially. It's growing a little bit now. So when you see the channel, we are doing some things now that we haven't been doing because we are growing and changing, and you're looking at it. So let's talk about these guys here. And I should have put. Let's talk about one of our partners here. So if you're looking at the channel and you see my man Hurricane in on there, they're talking Steelers and things like that. So Drive to the Top Productions reached out to me at a time where I was kind of looking for a partnership. I had no idea how to go about it, right? And he wanted to get somebody in who was a Baltimore guy. He said he had just had Matt Trigger, who was on the podcast with me, who did the instant reaction, was with Drive to Top, and he was able to say, hey, you're a Baltimore guy, just kind of what we're looking for. And so what I'm saying to that is you're going to see some stuff. You see the open mic night. You're going to see him and the big guy on there. You may see some stuff without my face in it, and they're going to be talking sports. So it's going to be some general sports content on here. I am going to be on there. If you're watching this right now on Drive to the Top Productions, this is not our beginning show. I air it on my channel first, and then I go to Drive to the Top and then air it for the audience that hadn't seen it. So if you're on here and you're seeing some things, it is going to be a little bit different than just me talking like I'm doing now, the Baltimore Sports Podcast content. It's going to be a little bit different in that stuff. Something that is starting Super Bowl weekend here as well, and something I've been wanting to do for a while. We're evolving into interviews that we're doing. So this weekend we're going to interview a couple. We're going to have our first guest on the podcast. You're going to see more of this. You're going to see people we're talking to. So we're going to have two very cool ones. We're going to have three, actually. I'm only going to announce two because the third one is not in the can yet. So in case for whatever reason it doesn't, which I think it will, we're going to announce it. But these two are already done. We're going to interview Keith Henry, who is one of the cool guys at the Afro-American, my high school classmate. I've known him for 30 years. He's been a sports writer in Baltimore for 30 years. He's going to give us his thoughts and insights and everything about Baltimore sports, Coppin State, where he's worked. I actually went there for a little bit. He's got a degree in media. So we had a really cool conversation, and we're going to air that one on Friday night. We're going to talk to him. Really cool. For all of you fans of the Flock Rundown, I love Ryan from the Flock Rundown. One of the largest YouTube Ravens content creators has agreed to come on our channel and speak to us. And I had a good 40-minute conversation with Ryan. It was so cool because everything you see in the channel is exactly what he is when I actually talked to him. So very cool as well. The third one will be airing. I'm not going to say who, but it should be airing right before we go live on Sunday for the Super Bowl. So we're going to be going on 4:00 before the Super Bowl Sunday for about a half hour. We're going to preview the game. We're going to do a little pre and post with that. I don't know if I'm going to have any of the guys with me. I might invite some of the guys at Driving the Top to come on with me before the game and go over that as well. So those are some things that are going on as well. And I want everybody to definitely check out our website, RavenResports.company.site. If I don't have it, you can go to the website that we have had. I'm telling you, I want to go somewhere. I'm trying to create something that I wanted to see myself, right? Baltimore sports content that's not just cookie cutter. You know, I started Orioles content because I was so unhappy with some of the stuff that I saw out there several years ago. I mean, obviously, it's funny. When I got in the game, it actually got a lot better. A lot of them I like now. But, I mean, some of the stuff I saw was just – and so definitely check us out. We're growing here. Still not a real big channel, obviously. But you check us out on YouTube, Twitch, Rumble. We're definitely on Facebook if you want to go ahead. A lot of our videos on Facebook. I can't go live there. I have to edit. They have so much copyright issues on Facebook, so I will not go live on Facebook. Our shorts are on Instagram and all this stuff. So we are going on many different platforms. Definitely check us out. We're hoping to have the app done for the website. I know a lot of you use the app. A lot of you aren't old heads like me who still use laptop for everything. So we'll definitely check that out as well. So thank all of you for joining in. I don't think I've ever done a segment about the channel. So I definitely wanted to explain it. Everything that's going on with us here at the Raven Sports podcast. All right, talk a little NBA. The NBA, you know, like for me, after football is winding down, we're gonna have the Super Bowl. I mentioned again. Check out the stream on Sunday. Right, the streams we're gonna have. But I kind of start. This is kind of the start for me, and a lot of it was the NBA. Watch the NBA on opening night, watch it on Christmas Day, and then now we really get my eyes all the way open to like NBA games in college, you know, with the start of the after football, after the AFC, after the championship game's over. Now it's time for the NBA. And boy, what a start we're getting. Luka Doncic was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's go ahead and get the whole trade here. To the trade. So Luka Doncic was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers for a couple other players, and AD, Anthony Davis, was traded to the Dallas Mavericks as well. So that is what happened there. This is probably some are arguing this is the biggest trade in the history of the NBA. I don't know if it's the biggest trade in the league history. It's certainly the biggest what the H trade ever. I can't remember being more shocked by a trade ever. Like this was on a scale. I put it on a scale of 1 to 10. This is 30. I think that's being modest. We were shocked. Everybody said, well, Shams must have been hacked. Like when we saw the trade. I've been a Laker fan my entire life. So I'm thrilled. You're getting the guy last year. People are saying, well, he's 2, 3. This guy was the best player in the league last season. No question about it. He took that team, Dallas, which I don't think was a really good team outside of Kyrie Irving, all the way to the finals. So I think Luka Doncic is fantastic. I am in shock that the Mavs aren't getting killed worse for this. I don't want to go conspiracy theory. I did watch a couple things about the situation with the casino they're trying to build in Dallas to go ahead and get a casino built because the people that own it now are casino owners. They're trying to get a casino built in Dallas. So maybe they don't want the team to be too good so they can threaten to go to Las Vegas, or maybe they want to go to Las Vegas to do that. I'm giving that credit. It's a rumor. I don't know. But I'm giving that credence because it's got to be something that's not like you don't possibly think that this is a good trade for you if you're the Mavericks. Got to be something past basketball. Got to be. Mark Cuban was not in charge anymore. That was one of my first thoughts. No way he signed off on that. No way. No chance in the world that Mark Cuban is in charge and this is his money and he's going to let them. No, he's not going to do that. Absolutely not. They said Jason Kidd didn't know. I don't buy that at all. I think Nico Harrison, the GM of the Dallas Mavericks, is just trying to protect him. They're trying to go in with that. You kind of see that with EDC and Harbaugh sometimes. He kind of, well, I don't know what's going on. He kind of, yeah, come on, man. He's not crazy enough to do a crazy move like this without the coach and the owner signing off. That's just not going to happen. They're not going to allow it. They're going to, or if he can get it through, they're going to fire him and then be mad with him. So they all knew, in my opinion, what was going on. So I'm also shocked to hear anybody that's getting paid to talk basketball to say that this is better for the Mavericks in the short term. Are you kidding? No, it's not. Not at all. Not having Luka Doncic is not good for your team. AD, I think, is an overrated player. I think he's a decent player, but he's not a Luka Doncic. Doncic is a player, a top of the league player, top of the food chain, international, outstanding player. Spare me with the conditioning and all that. That's just, you're trying to justify whatever reason it is. I don't know if this is true about the casino and all that other stuff. It's clear they didn't want to pay him the Supermax. Very clear. That I think that or whatever else is going on with the casino and the threat and all that other stuff that's the reason why this is happening as well. For the Lakers, for my Los Angeles Lakers, I think it's a good move. Obviously, I think this is what they want in a lot of ways. They can move on from LeBron James a little bit. This is the first time in LeBron James' basketball life. He's not it. He's not the best. You got to sit in the back here a little bit. Interesting to see how that dynamic plays out as well. But this is good for the Lakers, who have actually been decent this year as well. I don't know if this by themselves win the championship. They're going to need a big from somewhere. But look, when you got LeBron James and Luka Doncic on the team, figure it out. Figure it out. I don't think it'll be interesting to see if LeBron is willing to have the mentality of, I'm not the guy, I'm not the main guy. It'll be interesting to see if he's willing to do that. But that'll be interesting to see. But it's not good for the Mavs. It's not good for the Mavs. No universe. This is good for Dallas in that sense. Here's what is good. And let's go ahead and turn this on here real quick. Not quite the champions, but finally, Terps are in the top 18. So congratulations to Kevin Willard, Derek Queen, and the rest of the guys at the Maryland Terps. So well-deserved getting in the top 25. We went over the games last week as well. The big win, 3 huge wins right in a row there is what did it. Winning the game in Indiana, winning the game Illinois, winning the game Wisconsin. This is absolutely a team that could play with anybody, a top 18 team. Next game is tomorrow. If you're watching this, I want to say, with the Ohio State Buckeyes, that's going to happen as well. Sunday, Rutgers is coming in to play against Maryland. Check Rutgers out if you haven't seen them. As good as Derek Queen is, you're going to have, I think, Ace Bailey and Dylan Harper, 2 outstanding freshmen for them. They haven't won as many games, maybe, but these are 2 guys that are going to go early in the draft. So definitely they're worth watching. To go ahead and check that out as well if you haven't seen them yet. Oh, not that segment. There we go. Top 10 as we march towards opening day. We're going to do this all the way up until opening day as well. And we're doing a segment. And I think this one here is what they say the coup de grace. The best, whatever that means. Coup de grace means it's really good there. The best, I think the best position in all of baseball. I think that without question, I think there isn't any. You have the most talented players at any position in the league now at shortstop. So it was hard. I left some guys off. I think that are good players as well. It may be a little bit of a surprise to some people in some spots. I don't think it's cut and dry either. Who was number one? But I think this was. But you look at a lot of these guys. These are the best. These are the best 10 players in each position, and it's interesting to see. I think overall, as far as talent in baseball, Darby Swanson for the Cubs. I like Darby Swanson. I think he's very good defensively. I think he's only understated because of all the talent that teams have around the league. Darby, I think, was he as good last year as he's been? Stat-wise, no. 16, 242. I think he had like 16 RBIs. 16 home runs, etc. But I still like him. I think you can see a little bit more from him, but I'm still putting him in the top 10. I think he'll bounce back definitely with Kyle Tucker and some more help in the lineup. I think that's absolutely good for him as well. Carlos Correa. Injuries is the only thing keeping him lower. Carlos Correa, I think, nearly got one of the biggest contracts in Major League history. He's going to hit for a good average. We know that. He's going to give you a solid defense. We know that. But can he give you enough games to really get into that echelon as well? He keeps missing a lot of games. This was the concern that the Giants had before and the Mets had, giving him that huge contract. Can he stay healthy? But I think he's fantastic. I think Correa, is one of the reasons why the Twins, if they make the playoffs, will make the playoffs. Carlos Correa, number 8. All right. I see De La Cruz. I think you gotta pump the brakes a bit on De La Cruz. I think some of the stuff I've seen him at number 1, best short. I'm not there yet. Not there yet. Good second half of the season last year. No question about it. He had 259. I think he had 25 home runs, 76 RBIs. So good second half of the season for De La Cruz. And definitely the talent is there. He's going to steal a lot of bases, which I love. I think he's a great defensive player. At times, I think it's a little more flashy than it is consistent. But I don't have him in the look. He's in the top 10, right? But I already see somebody in the comments saying, are you nuts for having him at 8? But he's not. I can't put him any higher than 8. Although I agree with all the people, the sky's the limit. He can certainly prove me wrong and be much higher. Willie Adams, now of the Giants, really good last year as well. So he had 32 homers, over 100 RBIs. I thought he had a really, really good season. He's going now to a Giants team where he's going to have a chance to be the main contributor for them going forward. I like him. I don't know how much better he gets, how much higher the ceiling is. I think 6'7". That's about right. I think that's kind of what he is as well. I do have him ahead of De La Cruz because I think he's more of a steady hitter on a consistent basis. I think he's going to hit more than De La Cruz consistently, at least in this year as well. But he was really the luggage carrier for the Brewers last year. Got a lot of money for them. Francisco Lindor almost needs no introduction. One of the super shortstops in the all of baseball as well. Lindor, 30 home runs over, of course. Great speed, great bat. I think, look, to put him in the lineup with Juan Soto is going to be downright scary. It's one of the reasons why I think it's one of the reasons why everybody likes the Mets and their chances of winning. So I really like Lindor. See some slow starts with him. That's the only beef I have. He's starting slow more than I like. I think I see some lulls where he's just not, I don't see any reason why I can't hit 300 and do with the talent that he has at times. But other than that, really no complaints. Trey Turner, another guy that kind of started slow, had like a bad first half, but Trey Turner has been good for a real long time. Solid contact hitter. That's what I like about him. Definitely a guy worrying a little bit about his age. I think he's going to be 31. I think he's 30 or 31. So I think that's a bit of a concern for me as far as Trey Turner goes. But other than that, I like him as an offensive player. I think he could have been number one if this position wasn't so deep. Trey Turner, I think, is one of the best hitters in all of baseball. So I really like Turner as well. Corey Seager, I dropped him down a little bit more this year. Injuries last year is a factor. Can he stay healthy for a season? And reclaim and get higher. I thought Seager, when the Rangers won the World Series, was fantastic. Not quite as good last year, but look, 30 home runs, 270 plus hitter. So I thought Seager was outstanding. Just got to keep him healthy on the field for an entire season. Very competitive spot. I mean, Seager is fantastic. I think he might be, again, you look at him, I think he's good enough, obviously, to be the best player on the team who won the World Series, and I have him at 4. So good. Take a look at how good Seager is at 4 in the whole list. Our guy, Gunnar Henderson. The only thing I don't like about Gunnar is his defense. That's the only knock I have. I'm shocked I haven't heard more people complain about the defense Gunnar Henderson is. He makes some flashy plays. It's very Derek Jeter-like. He'll make some good defensive plays, and then he'll kind of mess up one or do something. Just need to be his glove, needs to be a little more consistent. I like to see him. We know what he's going to do offensively. 37 homers last year, 281 average, most valuable Oriole, all-star. I think this – it's a chance he's the best player in all of baseball in the American League sooner rather than later. I think at some point when Judge isn't there, and he's at 3. He's at number 3. But I think Gunnar is that. But the defense, I think, is the only reason why I even had him there, as great as he's been. Mookie Betts. Betts, I think, is going to the Hall of Fame at some point, and I think he's still going. Injuries a bit kind of last year is a slight concern. Betts is going to be 33 at the end of next year. He's going to be 32, but he's a phenomenal hitter. 289, 19 home runs, 75 RBIs. No reason to think in that lineup, especially that they have with all that protection, that Mookie Betts isn't going to be one of the best players in all of baseball. Again, he always has been MVP candidate again. So Betts, I think, the number one in nationally. I will say I don't know if they're going to leave him at short all year. They're making a lot of moves, obviously, so they may move him into the outfield or second or whatever. But they're saying now, so we're going to leave him at shortstop, that he's going to start at shortstop for them. But number one is Bobby Witt. I think Bobby Witt last year, had it not been for the year that Judge had, I'd have certainly voted for him in MVP. There is no question about it. 32 home runs, led the league in triples, 332 average, 109 RBIs. I do like his defense. I think he's good on the field too. Witt, I think, was sensational all season. Witt, I think, might be the best player in the American League. You could say that about Henderson. You could say that about Witt. Tremendously stacked position, but I think the head of the table, not Roman Reigns, Bobby Witt, number one. There you go. So a stack position. Great players at shortstop. Top 10 list there. Some players, man, just got left out. But I think you saw it like Little League Baseball. Where did they put the best player? They put him at shortstop. You're definitely seeing some of the best era shortstop we've ever had in the history of baseball right now. Outstanding players there at shortstop. One more segment. Roster breakdown. Go ahead. Roster breakdown for the Baltimore Orioles. So next week, one of my favorite segments, we're going to do the last pretty much of the offseason because we're about to start spring training here pretty soon. State of the franchise. But before we get to the state of the franchise, we're going to break down the roster about what's good, what's bad, what the expectations are of this Oriole team going into 2025. So who's the best players on that roster? So we're going to break these down into levels, somewhat like we do the tiers, but not exact. But what are the levers of the teams for the Orioles? So the elites, I have two elite players that we have. Gunnar Henderson, we just talked about him in the shortstop list. I think Gunnar, the sky is the limit. I mean, the only negative close that you have with Gunnar Henderson is I don't particularly love him at shortstop. I'd like to see him move to third base. It doesn't matter. He's going to get you 30 home runs, 100 RBIs, hit around 300. Fantastic hitter. I thought he was fantastic all last season. The sky's the limit for Gunnar. I'm going to put Felix Bautista there as well. The injury obviously is a concern, but I think before last we saw him, he was one of the better closers in all of baseball. I think I have no reason to think that that's going to change a lot going forward. Gunnar, I think, is going to be Felix, I think, is going to be a top closer again. They are going to start him slow, which I don't like hearing in spring training, but we will see how that goes. But I think Felix Bautista, I think anybody would like to have Felix Bautista as a closer. Elite play. So these are all-stars that we have, or potential all-stars. Adley Rutschman, Jordan Westburg, Zach Eflin, Grayson Rodriguez. Some of you may look at the last two as weird, but I'm going to put them there. I think Adley, there's no question about it. I don't have him in the elite category. Not quite. I think he might be the best shortstop, but I think he's dipped down a little bit. I don't have him with the top 15, 20 players in the league where you would put in the league or your top he's maybe the top of his position, but I wouldn't put him that high yet. All-star, though, for sure. So is Jordan Westburg. I don't think there's any question about it. I think I love Jordan Westburg as a hitter. I think he's outstanding defensive player at second and third. I think he's better at second, but I think he's really good at both. Zach Eflin, I think, is going to go to an all-star game this year. Had he stay healthy, I thought he was a godsend last year. So will Grayson. Grayson has just got to stay healthy. But Grayson, I think, is for sure going to the all-star game. I think he's the future of the rotation. I think they're looking for him. The question with Grayson is, can he stay healthy for a whole season? That's the biggest concern with Grayson Rodriguez. These guys, I'm going to put the starters, solid starters category. I'm going to put Ryan Mounty there. I'm going to put Mounty there, Ryan Mountcastle. If he remains, Mets kind of stupid around, but I think if you keep him, you got a solid starter. Tyler O'Neill, for sure. No question about it. With the season he had last year in Boston, he's going to go ahead and pay big dividends. I believe it's going to be left field. I think it's going to be Tyler in left field like he was last year, and they're going to move Colton to right. I don't know that yet, but we'll see for sure when we start the season. But that's what I'm hearing here so far. Cedric, again, I'm going to put him as a solid starter. Great second half for Cedric. I think it was kind of underrated. But he's a solid starter. I wouldn't, no longer an all-star or anything like that, but a solid starter. Colton Cowser, I think, is a very good starter. Potential all-star, but I'm not putting him there yet. I think that's a little bit hyperbolic. Second year, I wouldn't put him in the all-star category for sure yet, but it's possible. Charlie Morton and Dean Kramer, decent starters. I think they're workhorses, decent starters. I think you're definitely going to get innings from those guys. Those guys have shown they're going to give innings as well. Solid starters as well. Some people might disagree with Kramer, but I put him in the solid category. I think for where he is a solid third, fourth starter. Role players. So I think these guys are going to give you something. They're definitely major leaguers that are going to give you something. A lot of relievers are in this category. Ryan O'Hearn, not quite as good last year. I don't know what his role is going to be. There's a chance they may move on from him or him not play as much. We'll see as well. I think he's excellent situationally, though. I think like he's one of these guys, I think he doesn't need to play every day. If he doesn't, he'll definitely be good spots. Gary Sanchez, Ramon Urias, Jorge Mateo, they're going to come off your bench. They know their jobs. Like they're vets as well. I don't like Urias as a bench player as much. He's actually good coming off the bench in terms of when he comes off the actual bench and plays. When he's not starting, he's decent there, but he's not decent. But what they keep doing is they're putting him in after he hasn't played in several days. He's got to play more or just come off the bench. Mateo, we don't know what his situation is. He should be healthy enough to go, but we know we're going to get a lot of stolen bases, great defense. The relievers, Sir Anthony Dominguez, Yadier Cano, Colano Perez, Greg Soto, Andrew Kittredge, and Keegan Aiken. The only one here, Kittredge, I was kind of tempted to put him in the other category, but he's a little bit older. As good as his stuff is, Dominguez, I'm not as high on him as some Oriole fans seems to be. Cano, not quite as good. Relievers are very volatile. It's kind of hard to put them in a solid every year, like unless you've really seen it or something like that over year after year after year. Put them in the role player category and the decent category as well. One more here, developing. So this is where we don't know what we're getting. Okay, guys should have a shot on the roster, but we don't know yet. Jackson Holiday, we're hoping for the best. Still, I think we're going to get a good Jackson Holiday. I think he's way too talented as well. I think in the future, I think he's going to be the shortstop. Heston Kjerstad, boy, I don't know, man. If they not sign O'Neill, I don't know how much he plays. I don't know where the room is for Kjerstad to really get a lot better, so I don't know what they're going to get. Daz Cameron, I think, is probably, to me, the favorite. They made a lot of moves for outfielders here. Too many to even go over. Then they've released guys. So I think Cameron, though, is the guy they're keeping, or he could be the guy they're keeping, but I don't know what they're getting. Sagano, I think he should be pretty good, but he's coming from Japan, hasn't pitched at all really in the U.S. We'll see here. I really like Sagano going forward. Suarez, I almost hate putting him here as good as he was last year, but he's an older guy. He's actually one of the oldest pitchers on the team, and I don't know what his role is going to be. Can we get another season like that? A little unsure. Not enough track record for me. In the last two, Kyle Bradish and Tyler Wells, I don't know if we get anything from them. Bradish may not go at all this season. Wells, I think we're going to see him at some point. What roles will they even have? I think you got 5 starters already as well. So there you go. Next week, we're going to do our state of the franchise. We're going to break down the whole roster as well. Real quick on this segment here. Gunnar, I think, is going to be the luggage carrier. Adley, somebody else has to break out. I think you're going to need 3 guys if you're going to beat the Yankees and get into the World Series. You're going to need more than just Adley and Gunnar, and you got to have more of their offense. Pitching, I don't know. And I don't know what they're doing in the outfield. They're just picking guys, releasing guys, picking them guys. I don't get it really at this point. You certainly have outfield talent in the minors as well. So we'll see. State of the franchise next week. We're going to talk about NFL free agency as well. Thank you very much for joining us, and y'all have a great rest of your week.